Hey guys, what's up? I'm Erin and welcome back to the channel. So last night I was reading a book called More Straight Talk on Investing by the former CEO of Vanguard, Jack Brennan. And right in the intro, he used the term financial entrepreneur. And I don't know what it was about that term, but it resonated with me. I love that term. I immediately thought, yes, everyone should be thinking about themselves as a financial entrepreneur. That is a fantastic way to put it. So I went to bed last night knowing I was going to make a video about that topic. So welcome to the video. The next morning with coffee in hand, I sat down to do a little bit more research on the subject. I do like to have a pretty thorough understanding before I do a video, and I started where everyone starts. Google. I Googled the phrase financial entrepreneur, and this is what came up. Apparently that term, or the reverse of it, is already taken, and it's about financing startups. Google, that is not what Jack was talking about. So we're gonna have to go to the book, More Straight Talk on Money, for a direct quote, because I feel like this one's pretty important to hear. I underscore the concept of thinking of yourself as a financial entrepreneur, managing your financial life as an owner manages his or her business, and it is your financial life, no one else's, which is saying that financial planning and investing are highly, highly personal. Which is something I always say. Finance is personal. Your financial journey is unlikely to look like anyone else's, nor should it. The author goes on to say, while your age and goals may be similar to those of a friend, colleague, or neighbor, your investment program may be vastly different based on your ability to withstand risk, your means, and your time horizon, among many other factors. Literally, I just kept nodding along and thinking, yep, you hit the nail on the head with this one, Jack. I wish everyone thought of their finances in this manner. When you're the owner of a business, you know exactly what that business is bringing in every single month and exactly what expenses that business faces every single month. On a personal level, you should know this as well. You should know the income of your household and exactly what expenses you face every single month. Maybe this means following a budget. Maybe it simply means tracking your expenses. But one way or another, you have to be aware of what's happening with your accounts. What do the balances look like? What should be flowing in each month and what should be flowing out? And make sure that that is actually happening. Beyond that, a good business is always looking for ways to cut their expenses and increase their profits. You should be doing the same at home. If you increase your profits at home, that looks like an increase in net worth. Maybe this is just looking for ways to trim your expenses. Like maybe you cut back a little bit on your entertainment budget by cutting back on some streaming services, so you have a little bit more discretionary income to work with. But maybe this also goes into the deeper aspects and the more fun aspects of finance, like making sure to reduce your tax burden wherever possible. And hold your excitement, I know everyone loves talking about taxes, but it does matter when it comes to personal finance. Ways to reduce your tax burden would be to reduce your income by contributing to pre-tax retirement accounts, or maybe you have investments that you can sell at a loss if they haven't performed that well this year because it's been one of those years, and that way you can declare a loss against your taxes at the end of the year. But if you're like me, your favorite part of the financial process is the long-term game. Now don't get me wrong, I love a good deal. Finding a good sale, that's a big win. But the thing I enjoy most is the long-term plans. Every good business owner has a long-term plan for their business, and you should have a long-term financial plan for your life. Are you a landlord? How many units do you want to own? And when do they need renovations? And when do you have to increase rents? Are you a market investor? How much of your income are you putting away towards investments? Are you increasing that? Are you trying to max out your accounts? Do you have a goal number that you're trying to hit? What date do you want to hit it by? But sadly, only 1/3 of households have clearly defined long-term financial goals. Then we have surveys from Edward Jones, Personal Capital, Charles Schwab, and My Bank Tracker all saying that the typical American is spending more time planning their next vacation than planning their retirement. But fairly, the Forbes article that cites the Personal Capital study does say that maybe the younger generations don't need to be spending all that much time on their retirement plans. If they've already set up their 401k accounts properly and are making reasonable contributions each month, not much planning needs to happen. And while making reasonable contributions is a bit vague, the younger generations really are known for DIYing things, including their finances, and I'm right there with them. I try to DIY absolutely everything possible. And in case you're wondering what the median contribution is for millennials to their company's 401k, it's about 8%, which is a little bit shy of what's recommended, that 15 to 20% range, but hey, it's a start. But if you want to be a financial entrepreneur and run your financial life, it might require just a little bit more time and dedication than, say, your next vacation. I'm not saying like a crazy ton time more, but a little bit. Like put 30 minutes more towards your retirement or financial goals than you do towards your vacation. Just because at the end of the day, this is your life. It's your life that you're planning for. Why wouldn't you want to have control over that? As I said, I truly resonated with the term financial entrepreneur. I think everyone should think of themselves in this manner because at the end of the day, no one is going to care about your money more than you do. So you have to know what's going on with it. Now, of course, all of this comes down to financial literacy. And while financial resources are widely available today, there still is a shortage of financial literacy. And point blank, I know I've said this before, but our school systems really need to learn to prioritize financial education in the same way that they do, say, a subject like math. Because knowing about insurance, what it covers, why it's essential, how to generate different income streams, how to calculate your net worth, the effects of compound interest over time, you would get more out of that than you ever would knowing the Pythagorean theorem. I'm sure most people would feel that way. It is literally an essential life skill, and they don't even mention it. And while it seems like there's an endless supply of free resources available online these days, everything should still be taken with a grain of salt. Some of the information put out is done by truly knowledgeable people, and it's very high quality information. But at the same time, there are still people out there trying to sell get-rich-quick schemes, trying to say that you can make $5,000 a day trading. All you need to do is buy their $200 course, or that you can build real wealth, but you just have to dump it all in crypto. Don't do that. The basics are really what we need. Finance really isn't all that complicated, but there are a whole lot of people out there trying to convince you that they are, so you'll spend your hard-earned money on their solution. In that same thread, I saw this interview the other day. James Corden asked Kris Jenner, what inspired you to fully get into and commit to business and being the successful businesswoman that you are? When I was going through a divorce, I remember my girlfriend looked at me and she said, let's look at your budget. How much is your gardener? I don't know. How much is this? I don't know. And my husband had been paying the bills and I didn't really understand the magnitude of what was really going on, and I felt really dumb and uneducated and not paying attention and not responsible. So we sat down and made a plan, and that was the moment when I felt like a light bulb went off and it clicked, and I thought, I need to know how to handle my own business. I need to know as a woman what is going on in my house with my kids and what things cost and what I have to work with. And I made a budget for myself and we sat down and we figured it out. It took me a long time to really learn how to do all of that, but because of that, it's been something that I've been able to pass on to my kids. Just the attitude of know what's going on, work hard, and build a life for yourself that you're proud of. But just pay attention. And whether or not you like the messenger, the message is wonderful and brings us back to the point of taking ownership of your financial life. That means even if you're in a relationship, I would never let one person handle all of the finances. If you're in a relationship, that means you have two CEOs sitting at the table. And I know every couple handles things differently. Often when you have a couple, you might have one person who gets a little bit more excited about handling the finances. And it can be tempting to relinquish control to that one person. Or maybe you have a couple where one person wants to focus on the day-to-day and the other person wants to focus on the long term. And there's nothing wrong with dividing and conquering or letting one person take the reins, so to speak. But you can't check out of the money conversation completely. You have to know what is happening with your accounts and in your financial life no matter what. One, I don't like relinquishing my fate to someone else, but also you never really know what happens in life. And for whatever lies ahead, you'll best be prepared for it if you understand your finances. Money isn't everything, but it does create opportunities and possibilities. So this is my shout out for everyone to become a financial entrepreneur. Gosh, I love that term. Know where you stand today, know where you want to go, and develop a plan to get there. Have you ever heard the term financial entrepreneur used in this context before? Let me know in the comments. I post new videos every single week. If you got anything at all out of this one, please give it a like. If you're new here, please consider subscribing, or if you know of someone who might get something out of this type of content, please consider sharing. I'll see you soon. Bye. Oh well, that's where we are. Called More, no. Self, Bernie's himself. It should be Jack Bogle. This one's pretty important to hear. Long thinking, yep. Know what it exactly, face. Maybe this means following it. Beyond that, a good business. Go into the more fun aspects is that you're not using person who's a little more excited, like making sure, and the powerful effects of compound interest, that would help you out more than what's your target number when you want to own, is to trim making sure to reduce your streaming service, the finances, like, I can't get through this. Everything has to be, you can get rich quick by dumping it all in crypto. No, you can't. And Gen X, I don't know what generation, need a lot of time dedicated to their retirement planning. Should be more than your vacation though, right? But fairly, spend all that much time on their